Hey everyone, it's Sammy. This is going to be a quick tutorial for hooded eyes. Now, the hooded eyes are often talked about almost like it's some sort of a beauty defect, whereas actually it is just a specific type of shape of eye. You know, it's no different than an eye with, a really visible eyelid. It's just, it's one of the things that makes us different and beautiful at the same time. So by a hooded eye, I mean when this part of the eyelid essentially envelops part of the moving part of the eyelid, just here, so that it kind of almost tends to eat up eyeshadow, so you don't necessarily see what you've put on your moving part of the eyelid really well. So there's a couple of tricks that you can use to really essentially not only make your eyes bigger when you've got hooded eyes, because unfortunately often when people have hooded eyes they also have smaller eyes, not only to make your eyes bigger but also kind of to really open them up, because when you shade part of essentially the area that normally people think of highlighting, when you're adding dark color, somehow counterintuitively you are actually making your eyes bigger. So it's a simple trick, but it really does work. So people can have hooded eyes for all sorts of different reasons. You can be born with it. I was born with hooded eyes, and when I was younger I could never figure out why my eyeshadow didn't look the same way as I copied from a magazine. They didn't have YouTube tutorials back then. I wish they had them and it would have been a lot easier. And then I somehow worked it out for myself when I first started using makeup, and but I just never really seemed to get it exactly the way that it was in magazines, and it really bugged me. So I was really kind of working at getting a technique that worked for me. Hooded eyes can be down to ethnicity, so a lot of Asian women have hooded eyes. And personally, I think Asian women are really, really beautiful. I work with a lot of Asian brides, so I'll use a similar technique on them that I'm using on myself now. And also, you can be born without a hooded eye with like a so-called normal eyelid, but as you get older, this part of the eye starts sagging over your moving part of the eyelid. So then you need to change up your makeup and just kind of alter it slightly to suit the eye shape that you have now, as opposed to the eye shape that you had when you were 18. Simple as that. So I hope this tutorial is quite quick. I'm not going to talk about any of, doing the rest of my face. I'm just going to do the actual eyes. So let's get started. I used MAC Painterly Paint Pot just to prime my eyelids, and it's basically matches my skin tone, so just use something that gives you a neutral base. I'm going to be using the Lorac Pro palette for this. You don't need to use the same colors. You can use pretty much whatever colors you like. It's more about the technique and where you place light color and dark color, and also where you put shimmer and where you put matte colors. So we're going to start off with shimmer, and I am going to take light bronze, and it is very, very light shimmery shade, and I'm going to use the MAC 227, which is a thick kind of fluffy brush, and this is going to put down loads of color really fast. So I am just going to go on the moving part of the eyelid and then just cover pretty much the whole moving part of the eyelid, and don't go all the way to the brow bone though. Then I'm going to take a much smaller brush. This is the Louise Young number 18 brush, and I'm just going to keep using the same shadow, and I'm putting a little highlight on the inner corner, and then just also continuing that highlight kind of a third of the way in under the eye. Then I'm going to take a medium brown color. I'm using taupe, which actually I don't think is a taupe. I think it's kind of like a really standard medium brown, and it's this one at the top, and it's a matte color. So the shimmer went on the moving part of the lid, and now we're starting to shade part of this kind of top part of the lid that we want to recess or kind of push back. And I'm taking my MAC 217, and we're just going to, essentially, we're going to shade, if you look straight in the mirror, so I'm looking a little bit down, part of that area above your crease that is kind of shading your moving part of the lid. So we're just adding a shadow. And start off quite lightly. Don't go too down though. So if you imagine a line here, don't go below that. So you're almost creating like a triangular area of shadow. So one side, second side, and the third side. So you're shading off part of the kind of the really heavy part of the eyelid. And definitely blend really, really well. So you are kind of doing like a windscreen wiper motion, but then also blend towards the end of your eyebrow and inwards. And because you're blending so well, don't be scared to kind of go higher up on this brow bone part than you'd think. Then I'm going to take a darker color. I'm going to use Espresso. Actually, I'm going to use a combination of Sable and Espresso, and they're both darker browns, and I'm taking my Sigma pencil brush, the E30, and we're just going to darken really kind of like what we want to pretend to be the deepest part of that crease. Obviously it's not really your crease is lower down, but we're kind of pretending, we're creating a fake shadow. So at essentially the lowest part of this, start shading it in, and don't do an area that's too big. And then take your MAC 217 and blend the edges really, really, really well. So you're kind of left with two little triangles. Now sometimes I will connect them to my lash line, so then you're kind of drawing a V. But oftentimes I don't. Often I just kind of leave it like that and then just use a little bit more of the lighter, what they call taupe in the palette I'm using, and the 217, and just kind of pat it on, so you're darkening the area, but you're not really doing a V. You're just visually connecting this part to that part. Then I'm just gonna run that pencil brush, what's left of it, under my lash line, not very far. So I'm just going to go, you know, maybe a third of the outer corner. I'm going to tight line using the MAC Black Shark Fluid Line, and I'm using my Inglot 11S brush. And tight lining is really, really great. I know this is going to look so gross. It's really great for hooded eyes, because you're not actually kind of using up any of the lid space. But it's great because it defines your lash line, but it doesn't eat into that very valuable eyelid space. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to line just a little bit, but I'm not going to line above my lashes like the whole way through. So I'm just literally lining the outer third, I would say. And definitely don't go kind of further than the middle. And I'm just going to wing it out a little bit, depending on how hooded your eyes are. That will kind of determine how much you can see the wing and how much you can't. Curl your lashes and really get to the root of the lashes. And then I also kind of like to, this looks horrible, kind of almost twisted towards you, so you get like a really, really good curl. My current favorite, the Maybelline Falsies Volume Express. I love this mascara, and I'm going to put, I don't know, 4 coats probably. This mascara is amazing for layering. And for a quick brow highlight, I'm going to use Benefit Eyebrow. And when you're highlighting a hooded eye, you don't want to make the highlight area too big. So I am, oh that's nice, there's a little clump. I am just highlighting, doing a little line under the brow but don't make the area, you know, massive that way. You can by all means kind of line under the brow the whole way, but just make the line really, really thin. And I'm just blending it with a MAC 239. You need to use quite a stiff brush to do that. And that's it. So basically, this is quite, you know, this is a daytime friendly look. If I was to wear fake lashes with this, I would use, hold on, I would use the Red Cherry 43s. The reason why I would use this is essentially they're shorter on the inside, longer on the outside, but the longest bit actually kind of hits you just here. So it really nicely shades that area that you want shaded. But I'm not going to wear fake lashes today, so yeah, basically this is it. So with hooded eyes, you can do tons of different colors, but I like to keep the shimmery color on the main eyelid and then use matte colors as a highlight here and as the crease color. So that way they kind of recess and the shimmery color comes forward. And tight lining inside of the lashes is also a really, really good trick for hooded eyes, so you're not kind of eating up too much of the very small eyelid space. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you like my channel, and if you do, please subscribe and like, comment, and please let me know of your tricks for hooded eyes, because everybody's got their own way of doing it, so I would love to hear how you do it. So thanks so much for watching. Bye!